A piece of breaking news, and this is a huge political story. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days. The One Nation, One Poll, the committee that was formed under President Ram Nath Kovind has now been notified. The Gazette notification is out, and we also get to know who the other members are. Apart from former President Ram Nath Kovind, it will also have Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, who's the Congress leader in the Lok Sabha. He's going to be a member of this panel as well. Ghulam Nabi Azad, former Congress leader, former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, he's going to be part of this panel as well. Harish Salve, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, is going to be a member as well. Shri Sanjay Kothari is a former Chief Vigilance Commissioner. Subhash Kashyap, who used to be the former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, he's a member as well. Shri Singh, the Finance Commission, the former Chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, he's going to be part of it as well. So it will have 8 members from side of Ram Nath Kovind. There will be Amit Shah, Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Singh, Subhash Kashyap, Harish Salve and Sanjay Kothari. And also Arjun Ram Meghwal, who is the Law Minister, will be a special invitee. So let me go across to Payal Mehta and get a sense from her. So you have members from the government, from the opposition, and of course you have some very, very senior former bureaucrats and advocates of the Supreme Court. Just walk us through, what was the thinking behind deciding or finalizing these names?
Zaka, like we first reported yesterday, that this is going to be a comprehensive committee and not a committee of the government alone, and that's one of the reasons you have so many members in this committee. Now, Ghulam Nabi Azad has been a former leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. He's been somebody who's been the former Chief Minister as well, so he's been brought in over here. Of course, Union Home Minister Amit Shah is part of every decision of the government and every process of the government. He finds his place over here. Subhash Kashyap is not only, being somebody who has represented the parliament in the past as an official, but he's also a noted constitutional expert on his own. He finds a place in the committee. A CVC representative finds a place in the committee, and a member of the former Finance Commission is also part of this committee. Essentially, it tells you the seriousness of this committee, given the fact that you have to look at various issues. Now, Zaka, this is not merely a political issue, or just cutting short, or probably lengthening the term of an assembly. It is more than that. What are the financial implications on that? What are the other issues as well? Since Harish Salve is also a noted eagle, he's a legal eagle, he will also bring in a lot of weight as far as that is really concerned, given the fact that this is a legislation which looks at overhauling the election system in this country as well. So any legal impediment will have to be also ironed out. And of course, Arjun Ram Meghwal, who's the Law Minister of the day, he will also be present as a person who's going to be there as a special invitee as well. So quite a comprehensive list being drawn out.
I know it's early days yet, Payal. This notification has just come out, but it has, as I see, one member of government in Mr. Shah and one member of the opposition in Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury. How may you expect the other opposition parties, and there are fairly significant ones at that, regional parties like TMC, Aam Aadmi Party, etc., they don't find a place in this committee. How may they react to this?
Most certainly, they will have questions to ask him, because they will also be questioning as to why just the Congress party has been recognized. But, numbers-wise speaking, Zaka, Congress is the single largest opposition party, both in the Lok Sabha as well as in the Rajya Sabha as well. So essentially, that is the positioning that has been given, and that is a similar positioning that you've seen even as far as the appointment of the CBI chief, etc. is concerned. Adhir Ranjan has been a part of these panels as well, and now, of course, Mallikarjun Kharge also part of these panels. So it is, of course, going to make a lot of opposition parties really upset, but there are certain norms which have to be followed. But what is going to also irk a lot of people within the opposition ranks also is the inclusion of Ghulam Nabi Azad. Yeah. You saw the kind of bad blood that actually existed between Ghulam Nabi Azad and the Congress leadership once they decided to quit from the Congress party. So, of course, you can expect a lot of fireworks in the coming days as the committee and the details go out.
All right, Payal, thank you for that. Let me also go across to Aman, our political editor, who is tracking this story as well. Aman, what are you hearing as to the thinking behind the members who've been chosen to be part of this? Amit Shah, the Home Minister, the Law Minister will be part of it. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury as the leader of the opposition of the Congress party. But like I asked Payal, how may other opposition parties react to this? And some interesting choices there as well. Ghulam Nabi Azad, especially in the last few years after he left the Congress party, is an interesting choice, is a controversial choice. You have a former CVC, a former Secretary General of the Lok Sabha. What is the thinking behind who were chosen to be part of this panel?
See, Zaka, one thing looks very clear from this committee, that the government's seriousness is towards the one nation, one poll idea is clearly showing in the way this committee has been set up. See, so far, the ONOP proposal was being studied by the Law Commission. It was more kind of a bureaucrat's and experts studying it. This includes, for the first time, politicians as a part of the committee, led by Mr. Amit Shah, Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, Ghulam, Nabi, Azad. Three top politicians have been made a part of the committee. So government, I think, is very clear that it wants to go ahead with this idea, not just within expert opinion, of bureaucrats or of just the former officials, but also get the opinion of the largest party in the opposition, the Congress party, and of course the LOP, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, being made a part of it. So I think that is pretty significant. Also, I think the choice is pretty clear that, as Payal was mentioning, to make this a very high-level committee. So, when you include the LOP into the committee, the Home Minister is there, former President is there. This is showing that the government is very, very serious about the idea now. And if you see also the terms and recommendations, the terms and reference of the committee which have been set up, I think the one line which is there that the HLC should commence functioning immediately and make recommendations at the earliest. I think a very significant line. Also, the point that it has been asked to examine the logistics and the manpower required, including the EVMs, the VVPATs. Also, if this amendment to the constitution would require ratification by the state, examination and recommendations regarding that. Also, synchronization, the framework for the synchronization of elections, what would be the phases, what would be the time frame. Very, very clear. I think the terms and reference are very, very specific and very, very clear. I think showing the intent of the government that ONOP is an idea which may not be very, very far away, and the committee has been asked to start functioning immediately. Other opposition parties obviously will feel a bit slighted that they have not formed the part of the committee, but the government sources are telling me that every political party, every political leader, leading political party, as well as the state chief ministers, will be consulted by this committee. It will have wide-ranging consultations. So every political party will have its say. But obviously, the LOP has to be given the space, and he's representing the opposition in the parliament, Zaka.
And like you said, it just says it has to convene immediately and submit its report at the earliest without saying a timeline, a definitive timeline. And at the same time, it also talks about, in terms of the terms of reference, what are the articles of the Constitution which may have to be amended as a result of having one nation, one poll. And also it talks about, scenarios, emerging scenarios in the case of a hung house, adoption of no confidence, defection, etc. So the committee will then have to give a comprehensive sort of road map, if you will, on how to go about this whole process of one nation, one poll.
Absolutely. And I think earlier also, Zaka, Law Commission and earlier departmental standing committees of law have gone into all these issues, but, those recommendations were not binding on anybody. They were recommendations generally recommendations in nature. But now all these points being made in terms of reference of this high-level committee shows I think the government is going ahead with the idea with full force. And even as you said, the scenarios which could disturb the ONOP schedule, like what happens if there is a hung house, what happens if a no confidence motion is applied and the government falls, or what happens if there is a defection through anti-defection law. So all these points have also been factored into the HLC. I think the government is leaving nothing to chance now and telling the committee that please give us a report at the earliest. The wide-ranging consultation should begin immediately.
All right, Aman Sharma, we'll leave it at that. I also want to go